Okay, hi there. It's Janie Perry here, and I'm with the lovely Su Winsbury, who I've worked with for many years. I think we've known each other, Sue, through our Crisis Effect training, specialist training we did together, probably, I don't know, about 8 years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so Sue has come on leaps and bounds and is a background has been in holistic treatments, is a wellbeing coach, a crisis specialist, and mentor, and she now describes herself as an energy alchemist. So we're going to explore. We want to hear much more about this, Sue, because it sounds fascinating. I know a client of mine has done some work with you, and she described the process as almost like emotional surgery. I love that expression. I think that's a great way to describe your work. So, Sue, tell us about your energetic approach.
So, hello everyone, by the way. To me, we are energetic beings, and much as I love to work on the physical health, but the physical, the emotional, you can call it the spiritual, the energetic, they're all combined. You know, we can't differentiate because they all impact each other. And as energetic beings, we hold every kind of experience, emotion, situation somewhere in our field, whether it's in our subconscious, in our energy field, it's all stored within us. So I like to get down into the deep layers and unpeel what's going on underneath, because so often we're holding on to memories, experiences that we have no idea we're carrying. Those memories, it can be trauma, can just be a memory, but we have no idea that it's even there, and it's impacting everything that we do in our daily lives, as our physical health, the way that we respond to things. Everything is just an accumulation of what we've experienced. And also, it's not just what we've experienced in our lifetime. There's a lot of research that in our DNA we carry generational experiences, thoughts, beliefs. They've traced it back to up to 7 generations in our DNA.
Wow, that's
So
fascinating.
think that you're carrying your great, I don't know how many greats it is, but you know, you're carrying all this ancestral stuff, for want of a better word, in your energy, as well as your own that you've experienced this time. It's quite mind-blowing, really.
Completely mind-blowing. So you touched on there about this sort of the sort of generational patterns. I think you described it as kind of being held in our DNA. So that certainly sounds like there's some research and science behind this. Can you expand on that for us?
There is a lot of research. I can't pinpoint you to exactly who, but if you think about on a very basic level, as females, we are born with all our eggs inside us already. So therefore, our mothers were born with all their eggs inside, or her eggs, and we know that when a mother is carrying a baby, it's impacted by her experiences during pregnancy. So even if you start to trace it back through that basic egg level, it stands to reason that you're not just carrying we're not just carrying our mother's things, we're carrying, because she was already born with her eggs. So that's how you can start tracing it back. And I know that there's some research into mice, and I think they traced it back to 13 generations of mice will carry a particular behaviour. So I think they did a specific change behaviour, and on a cellular basis it's carried through for 13 generations. So there's a whole lot more to us than meets the eye.
Certainly sounds like it, doesn't it? Can you give us a couple of examples of the sorts of clients that you work with? Who comes to you, Sue?
I have quite a varied range of clients, but generally they will have either a physical symptom that they can't get rid of, and that they realize that there's something underlying it. And I think with pretty much every physical symptom there will be some kind of an emotional link somewhere in our body system. And I also work with people who've had emotional experiences that they know aren't serving them. So one lady that I worked with, she was one of our crisis effect recoverers, and she knew, she just had this instinctive feeling that there was something that had gone on in her life that was keeping her back from full recovery, but she didn't know what it was. And we worked together. We had a few sessions, and what really tipped the balance for her was it was birth experiences. So in her conscious mind, she had no real awareness of the trauma of her birth, but we worked through the trauma. And actually, she was born by she was a Von-2 delivery. And as we were releasing the energy of that, she could feel almost like a sucker on the top of her head. So she had this sensation at the top of her head, which then shifted, and her physical health just came on in leaps and bounds after that. So that was kind of one, just and I get so excited when I'm doing this work because it's just always mind-blowing. I had another lady that I worked with who'd had a pain in her neck for years and years, and she's she teaches exercise, so she's very body aware, but she'd had loads of treatment, couldn't get rid of it, and we actually traced it back to the point where her father became an alcoholic in her teens, and it was the point where she emotionally felt that she had lost her father, even though he carried on in life for many years. But that was the emotional point where she felt she'd lost him, and there was anger, there was frustration, there was guilt, there were all kinds of emotions which were literally just being stored in her body. So we tapped into those, let go of them, and neck pain gone.
So describe sort of how you work in a session with your clients. It's fascinating, some of those examples. So kind of to clear a physical pain through emotional work is quite a new concept to many people, isn't it? And it's fascinating. It certainly blows my socks off every time I hear some of the stories that you talk about. So tell me a bit more about how you work with your clients in a particular session, and what techniques do you use?
So I tend to, I'm a wellbeing practitioner, wellbeing coach, so I tend to blend in lots of different tools and techniques. So I use quite a lot of coaching, and then I mostly use a technique called the energy alignment method, because it's very simple, and it gets deep into the subconscious, it gets deep into your energy really, really quickly. I also use EFT, which is quite often known as tapping, a bit of matrix re-imprinting. So I will tailor it depending on the client, because not every technique is right for every client. A bit like not every diet is right for every person. So, you know, we all respond in different ways. And I've had some people where using EAM, they just can't get it. They get so much in their heads that they can't trust their body. Whereas I can do EFT with them and get incredible results. So it's very much an intuitive, it's intuitive as to what I will use with each person. But with EAM, we literally use your body as a kinesiology tool. So we use your body's sway. And the great thing is that your energy doesn't lie. So I can ask a question, and consciously you might think you know the answer, and your energy will give you a completely different answer. And it's just such a reliable tool that we can pin things down to a certain age when something happened, who else was involved. It's just like fine-tuning something. So in its simplest form, that's what I use. And we literally, the body will sway yes for forwards and backwards for no, generally.
Sounds fascinating. So sounds really fascinating. Certainly sounds like a tool that many of us are going to be needing around this quite a strange time that we're in at the moment with the coronavirus, and everyone being quite housebound at the moment. It's a real change of environment, isn't it, for everyone, and that creates its own stresses, and also kind of creates a little bit of an opportunity for people to stop and feel and think and kind of maybe be a bit more ready to work on some of these emotional and energetic levels, so that you're talking about. So have you got any sort of special offers for us to let people know about? I know a lot of my clients have been very interested in the work that you do. I know I've referred some clients to you. So yes, it would be great to hear.
Yep. So my normal session rate is £125 for an hour. Generally, I prefer to work in packages of sessions, because one-off sessions, as you know, Janie, a one-off just scratches the surface. But quite often I will offer one session to begin with, and then we'll discuss what's the best way forwards. But it's kind of like you've got to peel the layers off an onion to get deep into the heart of it. But for people who are interested, who've not experienced it or would like to experience it, or have something very, very specific that they know that they would like to work on, I will be doing sessions for £99 for an hour until the end of April. And
Lovely.
Then I will do a review and see what's happening out in the rest of the world, and maybe extend it, but that's my commitment at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Sue. You mentioned there about kind of working with people sort of longer term. So how does that work for you?
So I would generally work with people with a minimum of 3 sessions, usually 6 sessions, because that's how we can do some really deep releasing work. And I know, I've done very intensive training working on myself for this. I practice on myself pretty much every day, and there are still things that come up. So there's always other layers, but I like to sort of do some concentrated work with people, just so that we can really get through as much as possible and literally move them from a point to another point. And it's all about raising your vibrational frequency. Your body vibrates at an energetic frequency. People want to take a look at David Hawkins. He kind of designed the emotional scale and the frequency of vibration. So again, there's lovely research behind it, but my purpose is to really shift people from a lower frequency to a higher one, because then there's more joy in your life. When you kind of look at the law of attraction, you attract more joyful things into your life. Everything becomes much easier, and we move into what we call a state of flow. So when you have those nice easy days and everything works and nothing's too much of a struggle, and that's just kind of where I want people to be at generally.
Sounds wonderful, Sue. Sounds really wonderful, and sounds like something that I think the world is getting more ready for. I think a lot of energy healers, kind of sometimes people are a bit like, "Ooh, don't know what that is," and it all sounds a bit scary. But it's becoming much more sort of mainstream now. People are becoming much more connected with sort of feeling energy and wanting to feel more in flow, as you shared there, and more energetic. So I'm sure that you will be attracting many new clients to you, Sue. Lovely. But where can people find out more information about you, Sue? Should we add that on to the...
Yep, we can pop it in the links below. The website's very easy. It's just suwinsbury.com. I'm on Facebook quite a lot, so again, just Su Winsbury, no E on the Sue. But seek me out, have a chat, message me, and I'm really happy to answer any questions.
Wonderful. Many thanks. Thanks for your time today. So lovely to chat to you.
Thanks, Janie.
Bye-bye.